Okie doke. So the next question is, not being in an intimate relationship for over 15 years, I see one of the biggest barriers in my ability to have a relationship has been my lack of feeling safe. I did not have a good childhood and still carry many wounds. Anyway, this pandemic has gotten me to thinking and reflecting on my life, and something I realize is deep down, I do want a relationship. I'm not sure where to start in my healing journey. I'm an INFJ. Okay, so thank you so much for extending that question over to me. Thank you for trusting me with your personal development work. And because I know, especially with trust issues, I personally know this very well, it can be very difficult to find relationships, healthy relationships, and to contribute to those relationships, in a mutually caring and supportive and loving way. So thank you so much for this question. So one thing that I would like to say, just to kind of give it a little bit of background or give it a little bit of premise, is that with challenging childhoods or not good childhoods or painful childhoods, we don't learn what it means to actually have healthy relationships. And we know in our gut, we know in how we were feeling, we know in our fears and pain that unhealthy relationships are not safe. But what happens is that we tend to think that all relationships are unhealthy relationships when we come from that kind of childhood. And also that then means that all relationships are not safe. But that's actually not true. There are some relationships that are not safe. There are some relationships that are safe. And most relationships actually with people, it's even when they kind of, inverted commas, turn out not to be safe, that's generally not because people are looking to hurt you. It's generally because they don't have capacity or they don't have the skills for it to go any other way other than the way it's going. So when you have two people coming together who are wounded, or two or more people coming together who are wounded or have some wounding, then often what tends to happen is that we all play out the wounding that we're trying to avoid. And that may seem then like a self-fulfilling prophecy that, if you have a wound that you can't trust people, that then you can't trust people, right? But actually what that playing out of the wounding situation really is, it's an opportunity for you to empower yourself consciously through that experience and realize the power that you do have, instead of continuing to believe that you don't have the power. So even though these situations are really painful, and I remember, in my 20s, I think I was in my 20s, maybe early 30s. Anyway, well over a decade ago, I was in a relationship with a person who broke my heart, absolutely shattered my heart to pieces, absolutely never thought I could be in so much pain after my childhood experiences. So I let my guard down with this person, and because of circumstances, he and I ended up in a situation where he no longer wanted to continue the relationship. So these were really severe circumstances. So this wasn't just, we were seriously, together and building a life and everything. And then he lost his mother, and he lost his part in our relationship, and the relationship ended, and I was absolutely heartbroken. Absolutely. It took me years to get over that heartbreak. And the reason why it took me years to get over that heartbreak was because I had projected onto him the pain that I felt from my father leaving me as a child. So I wasn't just dealing with this person and their struggle in life, and I didn't have the capacity to understand that they couldn't be in a relationship or couldn't be with me for whatever reason. I made it to be a bigger thing. I made it to reflect all that pain from my childhood, and I made that person responsible for that, and they weren't responsible for it. I mean, they had just lost their mother. And I didn't have the capacity to feel. I didn't have the capacity to feel more compassion towards him than more pain in my own experience. So instead of feeling the compassion for his struggle, I was focusing on how much pain I was in. And because of that, then what happened was it took me a really, really long time to get over this relationship, because it wasn't just about this person. If it was just about that person, it could have been months. But because I was projecting onto them the pain that my father caused me, now it was years. It literally took years for me to get over that relationship breaking or being left. And what's really interesting about that, and something that I would like everyone to kind of consider and ponder for themselves, is that when we get into a relationship and we want safety in relationships, we actually need to get that safety from ourselves. I mean, my relationship with Peter, my partner, is so much more deep and so much more meaningful than, for example, that relationship even was. And if Peter decided to leave me now, I'd be sad, but I wouldn't lose myself like I did before, because I've felt safe in myself. I've given myself that sense of safety that I projected onto him that he should have given to me, this previous partner. And what's really interesting too is that with that heartbreak that I experienced in my 20s, like if I had, or 30s, I can't remember when it was. I can't remember how old I was, because time just seems to be this constant vacuum of nothingness for me. What I realized was that, had I not decided to take responsibility and ownership for the fact that I was projecting onto that person, I would now not be in this amazing, fulfilling, close, beautiful coming together with my partner right now. And that's a fact. And the fact that I'm able to have this means that I've had to look at I've had to look at what I've brought into the relationships, why they failed, what I've brought into it. Have I brought a sense of not trusting the person, and then becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy? So I wanted to give you a little bit of background on that, just to say, look, I understand how scary it is, because I was devastated, absolutely devastated after that breakup. But and I had the reason not to trust people, absolutely. But I chose to say, okay, if I'm safe in myself, then any other relationship can be an extension of that relationship that I have with myself, because I always have myself to fall back on if things don't go the way that that I would like. And the beauty of the 4 people within work is that all those parts of you, all those painful parts of you, all those parts of you that want to feel that safety, they matter, and you can build that safety around them. So you have all the power in this situation. So if you haven't already checked out the 4 People Within modules in the Facebook group, INFJ INFP Healing Facebook group, go over there and go into the unit section and check out the modules on the INFJs and the INFPs on the 4 People Within the roundtable model. If you have already checked that out and you want more information, head on over to merjasumiloff.com and grab the ebook from there, the 4 People Within full ebook from there. If you've already done that, if you've already read that, if you've already signed up for our pandemic book club, then by all means, let's work through it in the book club. But if you want more, then email us. Just send us an email, desk at INFxproject.com, and just say, hey, I'm struggling with this. What do I actually need? What are the options here? How can you help me? Is there something you can do? And we'll give you some options, and then you'll choose whatever works for you or doesn't work for you. There's no pressure. We don't do the whole salesy thing. It's not. We're genuinely here to help people because we have a 20 to 50 year plan on creating more compassionate and effective leadership in the world. So we're not worried about today's or tomorrow's profits. We want you to be in the driver's seat of your own life so that we can actualize this bigger goal. But don't be afraid to ask for help if you are ready to take more action, because it sounds to me like this question is you've struggled with this quite a long time now. So I'm happy to just support you. We're happy to support you in a way that we can, for you to now start actualizing that beautiful relationship that you do actually want, but starting with that, building that beautiful relationship with yourself and between those 4 people within you. Let me know what you think. Was that helpful for you? Don't be shy. Reach out if you need help.